Devin is an AI that was advertised to be able to replace every software engineer in existence as a complete AI tool for coding. And while it terrified software engineers when it was first announced, people quickly started to realize that it either didn't work as intended or didn't work at all. In fact, the only thing actually surprising was that the company behind Devin AI, Cognition, managed to reach a $2 billion valuation within 6 months. So how exactly did Cognition AI manage to reach such a huge valuation with a product that was half-baked? How does Cognition even exist? In March 2024, Cognition Labs claimed Devin AI could replace human software engineers. Within weeks, they raised $175 million and reached a $2 billion valuation. This scared the pants off every software developer in the world, and facing imminent jobless anarchy, no one knew what to do, until results started showing that Devin wasn't all that it was propped up to be. The YouTube channel, Interest of Bugs, spent 3 weeks analyzing every frame of Cognition's promotional videos, revealing a carefully orchestrated deception. Their investigation exposed specific manipulation techniques. First, the live coding demonstrations were heavily edited. In one sequence where Devin appeared to debug code in minutes, timestamp analysis revealed 47-minute gaps between cuts. The YouTuber overlaid the original video with git commit timestamps, showing how a 10-minute fix actually took over 4 hours. The channel also discovered that Devin's celebrated bug fixes were staged. In the demo video, Devin appears to fix complex integration issues, but the code repository's history showed these bugs were artificially introduced just before recording. As one section revealed, Devin was fixing syntax errors in files it had created moments before, equivalent to creating a spelling mistake just to show you can correct it. Most damning was the Upwork earnings claim. Internet of Bugs tracked down the actual Upwork job posting and client feedback, revealing that not only was Devin's submission rejected, but the client had specifically noted submitted work appeared to be AI-generated and didn't meet basic requirements. The $150 payment Cognition claimed Devin earned never actually happened. The Upwork task was straightforward: set up a computer vision model on AWS. The solution was right there in the README file, a single line of instructions. Think of it like having a recipe card for baking cookies, but instead of following the recipe, Devin tried to invent a new way to bake cookies, broke the oven, then spent hours trying to fix it. The reality? A simple task that took a human developer 36 minutes took Devin over 6 hours to complete, and it still failed. Speaking of, thanks so much for all the support on the channel lately. It really means a lot, and I want to give something back to you guys. So do you need a job? That sounded a bit weird. But whether you're a UX designer, app developer, freelancer, or just a curious viewer, I want to get to know you guys, share some UX and UI tips, and maybe even get a gig. So I made a Discord channel for us and want to make this the place to be for front-end professionals. And I'm having talks with people to get some employers in there so you can connect with them too and find some jobs in the future. I'm really excited to get this thing started, so I hope you'll join me. The channel's frame-by-frame analysis also caught moments of human intervention. Mouse movements during supposed autonomous coding sessions, keyboard shortcuts no AI would use, and even a brief reflection of a human coder in a darkened IDE window, all pointing to significant human assistance during the demos. The truth was simple: cherry-picking. While Cognition Labs trumpeted a 13.86% success rate as revolutionary, they conveniently omitted the truth. Out of 570 coding tasks, Devin failed every single task that required changes across multiple files, 95 in total. It also couldn't handle 230 tasks that needed more than 15 lines of code. The only tasks it managed to complete were simple, single-file changes, the kind of work developers already accomplish with free tools like ChatGPT. Even existing tools like GitHub Copilot, which doesn't claim to replace developers, helps complete 30% of developers' code on average and costs $10 monthly. Way cheaper than Devin's overpriced, underperforming system. The success rate, when examined closely, revealed not a breakthrough, but basic functionality dressed up as innovation. This gap between hype and reality wasn't just embarrassing, it affected real decisions. Companies delayed hiring developers, thinking AI would soon replace them. Investors poured millions into similar startups without proper due diligence. Meanwhile, actual developers watching the demos immediately spotted red flags that investors missed. But okay, Devon AI was a failure, a lie, and a mirage. So how did a lie manage to raise $2 billion? Let's break down the costs. A human developer completing the Upwork task in 36 minutes would cost about $30. Devon, taking over 6 hours and failing, would cost significantly more just in computational resources. Even using Cognition's own pricing model, each successful task would cost hundreds of dollars, 10 times what you'd pay a skilled developer on Upwork. In 2024, venture capital firms were operating in the shadow of OpenAI's success. ChatGPT had transformed from a $1 billion company to a $90 billion giant in just 2 years. Every VC who had passed on OpenAI's early rounds was now desperately searching for the next ChatGPT, leading to what one investor called AI fever in Silicon Valley. Cognition Labs crafted their pitch to perfectly exploit VC psychology in 2024. Devon isn't just another coding assistant, it's the world's first complete AI engineer. It wasn't just a tagline, it was calculated to tap into tech's biggest pain point: engineering costs. Their claim that Devon could reduce 100-person engineering teams to just 10 promised to solve the industry's most expensive problem. With average software engineer salaries at $150,000, this suggested potential savings of $13.5 million per company annually. The market math was equally seductive. The global software development market stood at $500 billion. Capturing even 1% of that would mean $5 billion in revenue. By standard VC calculations, which valued AI companies at 12 times revenue, compared to 3 times for traditional software, this justified a $60 billion valuation. Suddenly, Devon's $2 billion valuation seemed conservative. This valuation logic was playing out across the AI sector. Character.ai reached $1 billion valuation with basic chatbot technology generating minimal revenue. Anthropic secured $4 billion for Claude, despite its marginal improvements over GPT-4. In this environment, VCs weren't investing in current capabilities, they were betting on potential market capture in an industry desperate to reduce engineering costs. Traditional due diligence processes were compressed or ignored entirely. One anonymous VC partner admitted, after missing OpenAI's early rounds, firms were throwing money at anything with AI in the pitch deck. Technical evaluations that normally take weeks were rushed through in days. Basic questions about product viability were overshadowed by fears of missing out on the next big thing. Marketing played a crucial role in maintaining this momentum. Cognition Labs expertly used AI buzzwords and carefully staged demos to create FOMO among investors. They positioned Devon as a revolution in software development rather than what it was, a buggy code generation tool. By the time technical experts could point out flaws, the funding rounds were already closed. For developers watching this unfold, the lessons were clear. Technical excellence often matters less than marketing in securing funding. Devon raised more money in weeks than many profitable developer tools raised in years. Several developers noted that Devon's flaws were obvious to anyone who actually wrote code, yet investors missed them completely, revealing how disconnected startup valuations can be from technical reality. While developers focused on whether Devon could actually code, investors focused on whether they could sell the story of AI replacing developers, two very different metrics of success. Despite Cognition Labs' bold promises of a revolutionary AI software engineer, Devon's actual performance revealed a tool that couldn't grasp even basic software development principles. While they promised an AI that could replace entire development teams, what they delivered couldn't handle tasks that entry-level programmers routinely solve. The gap between promise and reality became painfully obvious in day-to-day tasks. Cognition claimed Devon could autonomously architect and implement complex systems. Yet when faced with a simple missing Python package, something first-year computer science students handle daily, Devon wrote 50 lines of unnecessary code instead of using the standard pip install command. This wasn't innovative, it was inefficient and amateurish. The disappointment deepened with database optimization tasks. While marketing materials boasted about Devon's advanced performance tuning capabilities, it completely missed a basic missing database index, a rookie mistake no human developer would make. Instead, Devon spent hours implementing complex caching systems and connecting pooling code that actually made the performance worse. Perhaps most embarrassing was Devon's approach to bug fixing. For a tool marketed as superior to human developers in debugging, its performance was almost comical. During a memory leak investigation, Devon spent 4 hours rewriting entire systems and adding unnecessary complexity, while completely missing an obvious bug in a basic loop, something a human developer spotted and fixed in 5 minutes. These weren't isolated incidents, but a pattern of fundamental failures. The same AI that was supposed to revolutionize software engineering couldn't handle basic version control, ignored standard documentation, and regularly created more problems than it solved. For companies that invested millions hoping to reduce their development teams from 100 to 10 engineers, Devon wasn't just a disappointment. It was a stark reminder that revolutionary claims require revolutionary results. The code quality itself raised red flags. When asked to optimize a database query, Devon wrote, "Any junior developer would know to simply use..." Its approach to version control demonstrated a complete lack of development best practices. Devon would routinely modify hundreds of unrelated files in a single commit, combine code formatting changes with logical modifications, ignore established Git workflows and branching strategies, and create unnecessary merge conflicts by modifying core system files. API integration tests exposed more fundamental flaws. When tasked with implementing OAuth authentication, Devon wrote redundant authentication layers instead of using standard libraries, stored sensitive credentials in plain text, failed to implement basic error handling, and created security vulnerabilities by mismanaging token refresh. Performance optimization attempts proved equally problematic. In one case, Devon spent hours implementing complex caching mechanisms for a simple web service, while ignoring basic optimizations like database query optimization, resource pooling, response compression, and basic HTTP caching headers. These issues weren't isolated incidents, but reflected systemic problems in Devon's approach to software development, raising serious questions about its practical utility in real-world development environments. Most telling was Devon's handling of documentation. Modern development relies heavily on reading documentation and understanding existing code bases. Yet Devon consistently ignored README files, existing comments, and API documentation, essential resources that developers use daily. It's like having a cook who ignores recipes and food safety guidelines, insisting on reinventing cooking from scratch every time. If you liked this video, please check out our other video on the day Trello almost died. Until next time!